Everybody, today we are in Chicago. We are on the road let's see if I can move this light behind my head. We are on the road for my wife, actually. She is the one traveling for business. On this trip, I'm just her plus one. So she told me she was going to be going to Chicago for work. And I said, you get to have a vacation away from the kids. I haven't had a vacation. I'm going with you on this trip. So here we are in Chicago, and I thought it would be a perfect time to do kind of a guide for how to work out when you're traveling. I initially had the idea before I saw the gym facilities over here at this Hilton that we're staying at. And they have a very nice gym here. It's not like, doesn't have as much equipment as I'd like, obviously, for a hotel gym. Well, it doesn't have as many facilities, I should say, as many things to use as I would like for a gym that would be my home gym, but it has a lot. It has a lot of stuff compared to most hotel gyms. So this is probably a bad example, but I did try to do some workouts that I would typically do when traveling, and how to properly utilize the equipment that you have access to when you are out and about. This gym, I would say that I was working out today, had, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was like Anytime Fitness level, but it was like a tier below that. It was definitely above home gym. It was a step below Anytime, but there was a lot of stuff. So not the best example. At the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about a couple business related things, and then I also intend to talk about some things related to somehow I was completely out of the loop and unaware of everything going on in the fitness community regarding Andrew Sulek. But I'm going to be throwing my 2 cents into the ring. Not that it matters a whole lot, but just to say what I have to say on the matter. So if that's all you're here for, skip to the end of the video. And in the meantime, here is my tips and tricks on working out while traveling. So starting out, we're doing some lat press downs with the straight bar. Most, I would say, hotel gyms you're going to go to are going to have a variety of pulleys, usually at least one or two. This gym happened to have 2 pulleys, so I was doing some lat press downs. I like to do a good stretch at the end. This is usually what I do for my warm-up on back day. I like to feel the stretch with the overhead extension, and then when I come down, I really like to get my lower back all through. I think I did about 4 sets of this, and a lot of times I will superset my workouts to where I'm doing, say, lat press downs, and then I'll lower the grip down and I'll start using it for curls, and then go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But in this one I was doing some rope hammer curls. I had a longer workout at the gym than I show here, but there were so many people. I kind of went, I don't know, 4 or 5 p.m. So there were a number of people that were finishing up their business that were coming back to the hotel gym, and I really don't like recording in the gym during daylight hours and having people in the background and all that. you know, in my mind, people are typically pretty polite when it comes to recording, but at the same time, nobody's asking to be in a recording, and I don't like to record people without their permission. It's kind of a pretty awkward thing for me to just go into the gym with like a tripod or something like that, or lean my, you know, phone up against something. So I usually try and avoid recording in the gym if I can help it when there's people in the background. But yeah, I was doing some rope hammer curls. I was doing heavy reps. This here is about the full stack that they have. I think this stack went up to 100 pounds. It's interesting though, because you know, when you go around to all these different gyms, all the pulleys really move the weight around differently. Yeah, that one's a 100-pound stack there. But I ended up deciding to use this because they only had one or two pieces of back equipment there. I ended up using the pulley system on max weight for some rows. Sometimes when I don't have the facilities for it, I'll use a pulley like this with the V-bar attachment, and I can knock out some rows. You can start high and get down on your knees, LOL, and use the V-bar grip to do some narrow lat pull downs. You can lean back a bit and do some rows for your upper back. Lower the pulley again, hit the mid, drop the pulley all the way down, get your lower back, and you might not be able to knock out the heavier weight that you would be used to with the proper row setup, but at the same time with a gym while you're traveling, if you're just going in looking to get a good pump on, then you know you can go for reps. This one, I've been intermittent fasting lately, so this is like the end of my fasting period right in this video, so I'm hitting less weight than I would normally like to hit. I mean, especially with how low weight this pulley system had. Like I said, it went up to 100. The machine felt like it added a bit more resistance than the equipment at the gym that I typically work out at, but at the same time, I was going on 16 without any food. But here is the view. There is Sears Tower and everything. Here's the view from the hotel room. Next, we're switching over to some high pulley curls. You can usually get a pretty good bicep workout just with the pulley, doing some high pulley, low pulley curls. You can switch up your grip and everything. I've been avoiding a lot of isolation exercises, unfortunately, like curls, because I currently have a wrist injury, so I'm not going too heavy. I have a strained wrist from the playground, pushing my kids on one of those big old spinnies. But yeah, I do some high pulley curls. This was about 40 pounds, if I recall correctly. I think I stopped earlier than failure, just because of my wrist acting up. It is been quite an impingement on my normal routine lately, but I'm trying to keep at it. I find that I can do a lot of the hammer movements, dumbbell hammer and rope hammer and all that, but a lot of the just regular dumbbell curls, Also, I can do some easy bar curls pretty easy, but once I get to about the, I don't know, 7-8 rep range, it really starts to hurt on my left wrist. So I'm just trying to take it easy on that. I'll still get my curls in. There was also a setup that they had. They had one of those annoying row machines there. But there was a guy in the backdrop, and I really didn't, like I said earlier, I really didn't feel comfortable recording him in the video. But they had, you know, a pretty decent lat pull down that I was able to get in my last couple finishing sets. At this point, I was so fasted. I think I was going 20 hours on my fast at this point. My energy was giving up about twice as fast as my hairline, if you can believe it or not. So, but here we go. I think this is the last couple reps that I recorded on there. But I would say, all in all, if you are in a hotel gym, what you're more likely to find than not is going to be some sort of pulley system, a bench, and maybe, if you're lucky, other than the cardio equipment, you'll get some sort of incline, decline bench. So, I mean, more often than not, what I do is I just do as much as I can with what they have available, and then I will just go for reps. This lat pull down machine here went up to like 315 pounds, so I was able to get some heavy weight in, but that was really lucky. I've really been able to enjoy the gym amenities here, but typically this is not what you'll find. So this isn't the best example again, but oh yes, they also had, I hate these curl machines. They had one of these curl machines. I don't know what it is. I see some guys using these a lot. I see some guys that really never use them at all. I just can't stand these for whatever reason. It just doesn't feel like I get a proper stretch in of my biceps. I'm pretty into instinctive training and just doing what feels right, and these don't feel right to me. I think I finish off here with some hammer curls, yeah. As you can see, like I said, it's a good sized gym. It's a really good sized gym. I'm sure that a lot of you guys watching this have home gyms or are working out at smaller gyms, and this is probably pretty big compared to what you guys have, or pretty on par to what you're working with. And obviously you guys know that I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. You can absolutely get in 100% solid workout with minimal equipment. I mean, there will come a point when there are certain things that you need to just have bigger equipment for, heavier equipment. But you can get a long way with a home gym and just the right amount of motivation, guys. So I'm not hating on anybody going that route. There you have it. First of all, again, this is not the best gym at all to demonstrate what traveling gyms are like. Last time I was in a hotel gym, it was down in Florida, and they had 2 benches, dumbbells up to like 70 pounds, and then they had a pulley and a couple Stairmasters. So some people might flame me for this, but I would say that a large percentage of workouts can be replicated and with a pulley setup. Everything from rows to lat pull downs to curls. Um, I mean, it's really awkward, but when you set up the pulley and have like some sort of platform, you can do some pretty good leg workout and all that as long as you're okay. It's awkward. It's not ideal, but if you're on the road and you're hurting for a workout and you've decided to not take a break from your workout, you need to stick to the regimen, then there's ways around it. You're not going to get the best workout of your life. Another thing I would recommend to a lot of people is that a lot of gyms are cool if you go in there and just say, hey, I am not from around here. Can I have a guest pass, or can I pay, whatever amount of money for a walk-in pass? I am in frugal mode right now, and once I checked out the gym that they have here, I was pretty content to not bother looking around town for anything else. But anyway, all that aside, getting to Sam Sulek. So, I've seen a lot of hate. I've seen a lot of compliments. Sam Sulek is a man that is kind of hard to hate, and how, I don't know, he seems like a very gentle giant. He seems like a really nice guy to hang out with and around. He gives off like, he's not like somebody like, I'm trying to think of other mass monsters. He's not like a Rich Piana, where he can have like a really seemingly egotistical and outlandish personality that, is kind of difficult for some people, to put it nicely and not speak ill. But I mean, he's a really nice guy. If how he acts and behaves in his videos is genuine, then he seems like a very genuine, nice, everybody always says he's articulate, genuine, nice, articulate, young guy. I forget how old he is. I think he's 21. So as a 29-year-old, I will say a nice young man. But he seems like a genuinely cool dude. What I will say is that obviously, yeah, he seems to be blasting so much gear that in 2 years he went from fit swimmer bod to 250-pound mass giant. But with all that to say, that's kind of his business. Like, he's a nice, sincere guy, and everybody wants to see him stick around, and nobody wants to see him get hurt. I know that, like, Greg Douchet and Athlean X and guys like that have done videos where they've talked about not hating on him, just, expressed genuine concern for his health. Personally, I've seen a lot of guys that are a bit younger than me go down a route of like, they get into working out and eventually they start, clearly it looked like Sam had been working out before, even while he was swimming, like actually doing bodybuilding workouts and all that, building up a base of knowledge and everything. I see guys that get into a routine of starting out with SARMs. They try out a couple different compounds. They run them about 6 months. Eventually, they start to become fatigued and burned out. So they go into the doc. They get blood work done. They've messed up their system. The doc says their testosterone is starting to crash. And so they manage to get onto like TRT or something like that. And once they get on TRT, it's not much of a leap to go from TRT to growth hormone. It's not much of a leap to go from a little bit of growth hormone to other compounds and everything. I'm not saying that that's the path that Sam took. but that's what I've kind of seemed to notice with a lot of other people, is that it usually starts with people experimenting with SARMs. SARMs are like the big trendy thing with a lot of the younger people, and then it turns into SARMs to test and growth hormone, and then so on in a very short amount of time. But personally, I think that Sam is smart enough, and he has the mass, he has the brains, he has the ambition that just, this is me going out on a limb here. Again, I don't know him, I've never talked to him, but me going out on a limb here, he seems like a smart enough guy that I feel like the steps he's taken to put on so much mass and so much weight in such a short amount of time, he's not going to continue that cycle. The last I saw, I just recently found out about him, and then I was, watching a couple of his videos. Now he's on a cut and everything. The last I saw, it seemed like he was really focusing on getting lean. I think that when you start going through a cut, yeah, you maintain the gear in order to maintain your mass and everything, but at the same time, sometimes that's when a lot of guys gear down. And if he's able to maintain, like when this dude cuts, it's going to be unbelievable. Like I think he was at like 240. If he cuts down to like 220, even lower than that, and it's just like shredded to pieces, like that dude's going to be more shredded than lettuce. I think that he might have a good foundation to work back up, but in a safer way. Maybe step off of a lot of the gear and just focus on a traditional like blasting cruise and just really drop off the gear. Personally, I am terrified of needles. Like needles absolutely terrify me, and so if a lot of the stuff that I've said so far sounds ignorant, like I haven't ever really looked that much into steroids or anything other than that outside of hearing other bodybuilders within the community talk about it. So I don't know a lot of the technical terms. I know of like testosterone and growth hormone and tren and like I think it's Clemdol and stuff like that. So I can't, if what you're looking for is my perspective on what type of gear I would think he's running, I don't have any guess on that other than what I've seen other people go down, which is, like I said, they get started on SARMs and they mess up their hormones and end up going on test, and then they go from test to adding in growth hormone and other stuff from there. I think tren is usually the next thing that people add in. But again, I'm afraid of needles. So the idea of giving myself an injection in my ass or anywhere else that people give themselves injections, God forbid I would have to stick a needle in my veins, is absolutely terrifying to me. And if my fitness journey were ever to reach that sort of point, I'd rather quit than go to that length. I might not have like Sam Sulek arms, but I'm pretty content with the natural bodybuilding lifestyle so far. All that to say, I'm going to put a couple of horrible blurry photos of Chicago at the end of this video, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my time here. One last thing, actually, before I go. I've been in Chicago for a minute now. My wife has been doing business stuff the whole time I've been here. We've been having dinner together, hanging out in the morning and stuff. But she's been going around, and I've just been exploring the city. So I've been hanging out in the Loop. She's going and doing stuff down at like the convention center and all that. So I've been going down to the convention center and then going farther down south to the south side. I've been going up north to Navy Pier. For anybody that is here from outside of the fitness stuff and is into like the nerdy stuff, I ended up going to the Margaritaville that's over here because of Eddie Burbach's video and Ted Nivesing's video. I was going down to the Navy Pier and I saw that they had the Margaritaville in there, so I had to go over there. It was horrible. But all that to say, Chicago is kick-ass. Chicago rocks. I have gone, we're staying in the Loop, but I've gone 10 miles down that way to the south side. I've gone all the way up past the Navy Pier and all that. I've been going everywhere. I haven't had to take a Lyft or an Uber or anything like that. I got a pass and I've been going everywhere on the train. I've been taking the bus. I've been just using public transportation. Public transportation, first of all, is amazing here. Second of all, I see that Chicago gets a lot of bad rap. A lot of people refer to it as Chirac, which is super funny. I love that, but at the same time, Chicago feels really frigging safe. So if anybody out there has heard a lot of the rumors about Chicago and how dangerous it is, there are pockets of the city that are dangerous. But at the same time, supposedly Kansas City is a horribly, horribly dangerous city, and I spent a lot of time in Kansas City over the last year, and, realistically, just don't, walk through Southside Chicago at nighttime looking at your phone and flaunting a big wad of cash, and you realistically should be fine. But I've been here for a while now, and I haven't had any issues, and it has been just an absolutely fantastic city to travel around. It is expensive. It's somehow more expensive than Denver. Represent Colfax Racks. It is horribly expensive, but it has been amazingly enjoyable. And when we get back to home, we are going to be working our tail feathers off, continuing to build business, continuing to work harder every day, work smarter every day, and hopefully play video games and work out in our free time. So thank you guys very much. I hope that you have a good weekend and a good rest of your week. Peace out.